Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Brokers. Today, we have Dr. Sarah Relyea-Logan of Portico Longevity Spa. Is that what we call it? Or Portico Longevity?
It's hard to know what to call it.
I agree.
You know? And it's heaven on earth.
It's the one-stop shop for all the things.
Yeah, it just kind of evolved into where you can get everything that you need to feel and look younger and healthier.
Yes.
It's a sanctuary. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's hard to describe.
It is. That sanctuary is a good word for it.
I love it. So, Sarah, tell us your background and how you got to Charleston to start.
So I'm originally from Canada. I was born there, raised there, educated there, trained there, and found myself in rural Virginia for 10 years. I started up a farm, a sustainable, maybe not so sustainable family farm, and then moved to Charleston in 2015 and took a job at MUSC doing academic medicine, but also still seeing patients and treating patients, specializing in women's health and addiction medicine. And then increasingly found myself not able to practice medicine the way that it should be. We were talking about it earlier. Medicine is an art, not a science, and it shouldn't be a business. And maybe that's the Canadian side of me.
I was going to ask that question. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. No, please
do. One of my questions is, why are Canadians superior? And then why do you guys come here? Is it just because it's warmer? Like, you know, every Canadian that I meet is just, you know, I mean, it's a completely different culture. So you need to, I mean, you don't need to, but I would love for you to talk about your experience in medicine, just being different.
Yeah, I want to know how medical education differs between Canada and
the
States.
Well, education, like you said, it's a completely different culture, right? So education in Canada is so much less expensive, and healthcare is free, right? So you have those two things, you put them together, and in Canada you're able to give and receive healthcare and the education to become a doctor. It's not based on business. It's based on what's best for the population, what's best for the providers, what's best for the people, and that's the biggest difference. And it's so hard to summarize. You just have to kind of live there and experience it. But both my parents have had cancer. My sister had breast cancer last year. They live in Canada. They didn't wait in line for anything. They received the best care possible, the latest technology, and they never once saw a bill. And this is maybe off topic, but I'm going to say it. The story goes, my sister had her surgery, and she had to have a mastectomy. And I flew up to Canada just sort of be by her bedside and help her out. And she, you know, sailed through it. Everything went well, and it was time to leave the hospital the next day. And she said, oh, you know, the bra they gave me is really not that comfortable. And I said, oh, I got this. I'll go out and get you something, and I'll meet you at home. Her husband was coming to pick her up. So I'm out shopping for a bra, and I get this call from my sister, and she said, oh, you don't need to get me a bra anymore. She goes, the nurse called from the plastic surgery clinic, and she asked me, she knew I was checking out, and she said, I just want to get you in for your follow-up, and I just wanted to check with you. Is there anything that you need? And my sister said, oh, I need another bra, but my sister's out getting me one, so don't worry about it. And she said, oh, no. Why don't you have your husband stop by the office on the way home, and I'll fit you for one, and you can take that one home with you. And so I was like, oh, that's great. My sister comes home. Not only did the nurse take her time and talk to her about things, but fit her for this bra, and it cost a total of $35. Right?
Wow.
And then there was follow-up calls at the home. Like, have you ever gotten a follow-up call after you've had, maybe from somebody in billing?
Definitely from billing.
Anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent, but it's just, the culture is so different. So I did not come to the United States to practice medicine, but I practiced medicine here because that's what I do, and I love to do it. But increasingly, I just was like, I can't be told what to do
Right.
by an insurance company or an administrator who has no idea what my patient needs.
I want to share a story just as a side-by-side.
Yeah.
So my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, I want to say 2 years ago. And I went with her on all of her appointments as an advocate, and also because we were told, like, you kind of black out while you're there, you forget your questions, all this. So I was recording all of the meetings so that we would remember what the doctors were saying.
Yeah.
And we had them all in one day. And so it was like a 6-hour day at the hospital. And the last doctor that we met with was the plastic surgeon, who totally had a God complex. And I remember saying something about how insurance would only approve her getting one breast taken off. And she was like, I'm 65 years old. No one's looking at these anymore. Like, I would rather just have them both off, to prevent like it spreading or me having to deal with this again in a couple years or whatever. And so I was asking that to the plastic surgeon, and he looked at me and he goes, I'm sure you're a very nice person, but I really don't care what you think. I was there as her advocate. She asked me to be there with her. And we both, our jaws just like dropped.
Yeah.
Like,
that's unacceptable.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. Treat people like human beings. And sometimes, I think surgeons have the God complex because literally, like, their skills are so great. So sometimes I say to people, I'm like, you know what, you just have to use them for their skills and not for their bedside manner.
Oh, by the way, he did a shitty job.
I'm not
Shocking.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, no, it's like you have to listen to people and you have to take the time. And now insurance companies, in particular for family doctors, they reimburse like $50 a visit. So if you're working for a big clinic who has to staff it with secretaries, billing department people, nurses, no wonder they're saying to doctors, this is a business and you have 5 minutes with that patient. Like, we're going to book you every 15 minutes and then we're going to double book you in case somebody doesn't show up. And I just was like, I can't practice medicine that way.
My OBGYN delivered a baby during our last appointment.
Gross.
I couldn't believe it. She was like, hey, she was like on the phone and I could tell she was like lighting up, and I was like, you're about to go deliver a baby, aren't you? And she's like, yeah, is it okay if I come back? And I was like, how long does it take to
telehealth appointment?
No.
Sometimes not very long.
It didn't take long.
No.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do love my OBGYN. I sought out a new one because I could tell the old one was not answering my questions.
Yeah.
And this person took a lot of time with me initially, asked me a lot of questions, tons of energy, like really, really engaging. And I am getting a surgery done because of some things that she found, okay? And it's major. And, but I am getting this surgery in a month. And I had a question the other day. So I said, okay, well, why do I have to get this and this out? Why can't I just get this out? The nurse responds, she can answer that in your post-op appointment, pre-op appointment, which is a week before my surgery. And I said, no. I just want her to call me. Just tell her to call me.
Yeah.
She goes, no, let's just move your pre-op up. And I'm like, fine. I would honestly rather have a conversation with her in person, but I couldn't believe that they were just like, no, don't worry about it, because I think I had asked the question before, but maybe, again, it's like Erin talks about blacking out. You're just like, okay, that's what we're going to do.
That's all a function of they're trying to have the physicians or let's just say healthcare providers, because it could be a nurse practitioner or a PA. They take away the connection between the patient and them because that takes time, right? So to answer your question over the phone or, spend longer in person takes time away. And if they're only being reimbursed by the insurance company $75, then it's better to just employ some nurses or not even nurses. Sometimes it's nursing assistants to give responses like that to messages like, well, no, they'll just take care of that at your next visit. It's not the people's fault. It's the system.
Definitely.
It's messed up.
So America sucked away your love of this profession.
Yeah. I almost fled the country, seriously. And then I don't know how Portico happened, but I finally one day just resigned. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, what now? And I got the space, and then the space kind of dictated what I did with it.
Well, it's perfect. So tell everybody where it is.
Okay. So it's right downtown at 21 Burns Lane, which is right between Meeting and King Street.
And it used to be
an Italian store,
yes,
the Hidden Countship. But before that,
okay.
Before it was, I think they said they bought it, it was divided up into little offices. But it was a building built in 1840. And apparently, it was a brothel.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder I feel at home there.
Stacy.
I'm just joking.
There's a lot of good energy in that building.
I love it.
I love
it. It does have good energy.
Yes.
Must have been a very happy brothel.
I think
those women must have been well paid.
Apparently, it was for sailors, and it was the only brothel in town that black sailors could go to.
Again. So I played tennis at the college, and our tennis courts were on Burns Lane originally. Where
Really?
the basketball stadium
Where?
is. Where the basketball
Where
stadium
it was?
is.
That was like a tennis court?
Yes, the tennis courts were there. So it is like already my happy place.
Aw.
And I would be there all the time if I lived downtown, but I get down there once a month at least. So you found whatever you're like, I can't do this, but maybe I'll do this. So you offer obviously concierge medicine. Mm-hmm. Explain what that means.
So it just means that I don't take insurance, and I can charge a monthly amount or an amount for the whole year that covers your entire care. So if you're sick, you call and you get me and we talk, or we text, and we decide if it's something that you can just take care of with some advice, or do you need to be seen? Do I need to see you? And then I arrange to meet you, and sometimes it's more convenient for me and the patient for that matter, for me just to do a house call. Because when you're really sick, or maybe there's more than one sick person in the family, do you really feel like getting in a car and driving somewhere? Mm-hmm. Is it even safe sometimes, right? So, and then there's sometimes, and sometimes a visit might take 10 minutes because like you've got something really simple and you're in a hurry and you're just like, hey, this is what I need and this is what I've got going on. And I'm like, yeah, that's really quick. But sometimes you could arrive and say, oh my gosh, I'm a mess and I really need to talk to you about something. And I can look at my schedule and go, yeah, we can do that. I can block off an hour for you if you need. I don't have to have that many patients that I'm looking after in order to fund my clinic. I don't even know what to call it. But I have one nurse that works for me part-time. She does IVs and does IVs by house call, helps me out with procedures.
I love the IV. I don't know what you told me to get. What was the IV you told me to get?
I'm trying to remember.
Myers? Is there
the
a
Myers cocktail?
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I was buzzing for like a week after that.
What's in that?
It's just a bunch
B12?
of vitamins. Yeah. It's a special formulation that Dr. Myers put together in the late 80s when everybody was having like Lyme's disease and chronic fatigue, and all the doctors were saying, oh, this is just in your head. There's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing we can do for you. You just need to sleep more or something like that. And so he's like, well, listen, maybe this will help, and put together this formula, and people benefited from it. So
I loved it.
Yeah.
I've had one of those when I was severely hungover. I went to like an IV place, and let me tell you, 45 minutes, I walked out and I was like, who wants to go get a cocktail?
Yeah, it's great. No, and it's great. Like if you just have a regular illness, like a bladder infection, or or you've been traveling, like, and changing time zones, and you're really depleted. It's like drinking 10 Gatorades, with some good vitamins in it. So so we do the IVs, and then people were like, well, are you going to do Botox and all this, cosmetic stuff?
And you were like, duh.
And I was like, would I love to? And then, so I got some help from a resident who is graduating in July in dermatology. He was one of my favorite interns during COVID. He just always knew what to do and was doing research. He's one of the smartest kids that I know. And I'm like, hey, Alan, I think I want to do lasers and microneedling. Like, the new technology is amazing, but like, where do I start? There's 1,000 laser companies out there. And he's like, oh, I know where you should start. And so we did. We went down that path, and I love what I do. Mm-hmm. It makes people happy. Mm-hmm.
So I had, the only time I've been there, I had I forget what you call it, but it's like a 2-hour
Oxylite facial.
Oh yeah, that machine was a huge find.
I don't even remember the machine. I truly.
Did you fall asleep?
I left the planet.
Yeah.
I didn't just fall asleep.
Yeah.
I left the planet.
Yeah.
For 2 hours.
Well, and part of that is the healing touch. And so the other secret weapon that I have at Portico is Erin. Mm-hmm. You know,
Yes.
she has, there's something about healing that comes from a person's intentions. So I think a lot of times when people are healed from something, it's not the prescription that the provider's doing, or even necessarily the surgery sometimes. It's in the intentions of the people that are looking after you and caring for you that helps you heal. No wonder prayer heals, right? Mm-hmm. Like, all of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So Erin,
the energy.
Get back to Erin. She truly, truly wants everybody to feel good, and she has magic in her fingers.
She really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had an experience like that.
Yeah.
I read this book several years ago. You might have read it, called Being Mortal. Mm-mm. Okay. It is all about how in Western medicine, doctors are taught to do everything that they can to extend somebody's life for a day, 2 days, a month, at no matter the cost. Like, they could be miserable, but at least they're getting one more month, rather than making them comfortable, talking to them about the process of dying, talking to the family about the process of dying, and trying to make that transition easier on everybody. And I just found it like so disgusting.
Yeah.
That is what we're teaching, I guess, in medical schools in this country, is extend the life, extend the life, extend the life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And again, different culture. In Canada, that's not what we were taught, and that's not what was pushed. We learned about palliative care in medical school. We had palliative care teams in each of the residency programs where I trained, and then I worked afterwards at University of Toronto. I think it's a very American thing, mm-hmm. and I've heard that it's worse in the South than it is in the North. I haven't practiced up North, so I don't know.
But it does make sense. I mean, that's the business side of this industry, right?
Wow. How did I never even think about it that way? You're exactly right. They
We
make
just
more
connected
money.
the dots together.
Yeah, no,
the
they make more money.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. It's...
Wow. There's so many things that I found out as I was working that just, again, it just injured my soul. Did you know that? So, like,
we got to get out of here. I mean, really, like, when do I buy my one-way ticket to France? Okay, like, seriously.
But I think that there's enough people that want to bring about change. Like, a lot of people have come to me and said, oh, my OBGYN did the same thing. She left the system, and I just pay her a one-time cash fee for my checkup every year, and she spends an hour and a half with me and really listens to me. So I think that there's doctors and providers. It's happening all over, you know? But
yeah. And I think there's more conversations too, like with the election and stuff. People were talking about like food.
Yeah.
Stuff.
What's your take on RFK and his agenda to, right our wrongs and make us healthier?
I think that I like the idea of somebody that's willing to speak up about things that are wrong. I'm not sure, to be perfectly frank, that his science is all that correct on everything. So I've had to take a little bit of a arm's length from reading a lot about it, because again, sometimes when the science is not accurate, it can be a little upsetting for me, I guess. I think that there's so much wrong with, again, I don't want this to be so depressing, right?
No, be honest,
Okay.
whatever. Look, we're all depressed.
Okay.
Are
Might as well talk about
40% of people on antidepressants or something like that?
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
So just go with it. We're tranquilized enough to be able to bear it.
Again, it's all about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our food
Yeah.
system is based on making profits for big, huge companies. Took it away from farmers. Farmers used to be the richest person in the community. Did you guys know that?
Nope.
Wendell Berry has written some beautiful stuff about.
I
Have you
have
read
read his-
Oh my gosh. And he actually has written about the healthcare system as well.
I went to see one of his movies, or a movie about him.
Oh.
Yeah. At the Charleston Music Hall.
I
a
got
couple
this
years
close
ago.
to having Wendell Berry visit the farm that I started, but it never happened.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'll just go visit Wendell Berry one day.
Yeah, there was a woman on Bill Maher the other night. Bill Maher for president, 2028, by the way.
You and John are the same.
He makes a lot of sense. Anyway, she is a doctor of some sort, but she had just written this book about how no one's talking about treating the problems that Americans have faced. Like, we're all just like, oh, the problem's already there. Let's just throw medicine at it.
Yeah.
And, let's just write a prescription. Everyone's just like, I trust my doctor, whatever pill they'll give me.
Yeah.
Rather than like what's causing it. And it's the food that
Yeah.
we're eating. It's the plastics that we're producing. It's the hormones that we're taking. All this bullshit that we're putting into our bodies. And then we're like, I don't know why I'm obese. I don't know why I have terrible skin,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but it's it's a hot topic right now.
It is a hot topic. I don't have the answers other than to say we've got to look more critically at why things are the way they are, right? So why is cheap food cheap? Well, it's because there's subsidies to these big farming companies to produce monocrops like soy and corn and make refined processed foods that make a huge profit because it's super cheap for the companies that are producing the foods. And nobody's paying the little farmer, the gardener, the person who's doing it right. Believe me, I know this because I lived on the not so sustainable family farm for 10 years. Those kind of farmers aren't making any money.
So much.
Yeah. There's no subsidies for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah.
But I was gonna talk about something that you brought up about nobody talking about the root cause. Mm-hmm. So do you guys know about the hotspots for breast cancer? Like, we're always talking about the cure, and all the research is going to the cure, which is good, believe me, with this many women getting breast cancer. So about 10 years ago, I read this research piece about the hotspots for breast cancer. And there were 3, and I'm trying to remember the names. It was Marin County in California, Orange County, I think, in Long Island, and another county out near New York somewhere, where instead of the 1 in 9, which was what breast cancer was at that point, it was a 1 in 6 chance that the women living in that area had. And so people were doing research onto, well, what is it? It's the pesticides and herbicides that are in the water because they have the highest per capita square foot of golf courses.
Oh my gosh.
That makes a lot of sense.
So why don't we all know this?
Well, because I was going to say Marin County is like my dream place to live. Like, I want to be in the forest. I mean, to me, it's like just natural beauty. That's my association with it.
And don't drink the water. And if you're a woman who golfs, your chance is also really high of getting breast cancer because, of course, what are you doing while you're golfing? You're bending down, you're picking up the ball, it's in the grass, and then you're like wiping your face, and maybe you go in and have lunch, and you're eating your lunch before you maybe you don't wash your hands before lunch. So your pesticide levels in your body and herbicides are like way higher than...
I've definitely never heard of this.
There was a neighborhood in North Mount Pleasant a few years ago that had like 6 or 7 children that all had the exact same brain tumor. That is a really rare brain tumor, and it was a new neighborhood.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure it's because of what they were spraying.
Of course.
Right?
But, officials were like, no, it's just a coincidence. It's
and
like,
why
no, it's
are
not.
all these things banned in Europe but not banned here? Because the big companies that make them are making a huge profit off of it. And they don't want them to be banned, and I'm sure they've lobbied.
Of course.
You know.
Of course. Politics is all about money. So 1 in 9 women will get breast. That's alarming, and
It's actually lower. It's higher now.
Yeah,
it's probably 1 in 7
Yeah.
at this point.
Is that true just in the States, or is that? Do you know?
I haven't looked at the numbers. I'm sure in the urban parts of Canada, it's probably similar. I mean, it might be a little bit lower, but and there's many more factors that go into it. It's not just pesticides and herbicides. It's the diet. It's the North American diet, full of processed foods.
And we inadvertently digest so much plastic.
Yeah.
It's like I want to say it was like a size of a credit card each week that we eat.
Yeah. And the plastics in your body get converted to estrogens, and high estrogen levels are associated with higher chance of breast cancer. I mean, there's so many things that go into it.
I get a lot of shit for the way that I eat because I just don't. I guess I've never been a huge meat lover.
Yeah.
And so I was pescatarian for a lot of years. But it kind of bugs me when I go out to eat with somebody and they're like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't really eat pork or beef or whatever. And they get an eye roll, and I'm like, it's not good for you. Not the way that it is produced in America.
Yeah.
I just got back from Ireland, and I would eat it over there.
Yep.
Because they're not pumped full of antibiotics and hormones and everything. But I have a hard time supporting the farm factories here where these animals live terrible lives. The chickens can't even stand on their own 2 legs because they're so full of hormones that they weigh too much to hold themselves up. It's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I haven't had a chicken out. And then even then, when I cook chicken at home and I get it off the shelf at the grocery store and it says antibiotic free range, I'm like,
Is it
really?
Mm-hmm. Is it? Yeah. Who's policing that? They're not doing a good job.
No, they're not. I met a couple USDA inspectors in my farm life, and they both said to me that they would never eat any meat that came off of a shelf in a grocery store. Mm-hmm. They would have to know the farm that it came from.
So
and which slaughterhouse it was slaughtered at.
Buying it from a farmer's market, is that what you would recommend?
Yep, and then talk to the farmer and say where do they get their meat processed? Because even where it's processed makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. That's hard, though. I mean, realistically. Okay?
It's really hard.
This is not California or wherever they have farmers markets everywhere. I buy all mine from Force of Nature, and I get it shipped.
Is that online?
Yeah. And they're in Texas, and they were vegan. They were vegan. I'm not kidding. Yeah. It's a very interesting story, but it's venison, it's elk, it's bison.
Yeah. Those animals are happy.
And you know what's so funny? My boyfriend does not like their beef, and my boyfriend loves beef.
I wonder what it is about the taste.
It's too lean. It's too, and the bison tastes just like hamburger meat to me, and for him it's too gamey. Yeah. Because it's not the grocery store stuff.
So let me tell you a little story about beef cattle. So I know a lot about beef cattle because on the farm we had a rare type of beef cattle that had been wild for centuries in England. And so they had never been fed grain, and they were very rarely even given hay. So their meat can marble and get fat with good omega fatty acids off of the grass. And so it even depends on the breed of the cattle. So the bison probably tasted better than the beef cattle because the bison were wild, right?
I prefer that. Yeah. I don't notice the gaminess of it at all.
So anyway.
I will say too, because there really is limited access to good stuff. And even if you go to Whole Foods, that's not, but.
How lucky are we that we can even have this conversation? You can order your meats from somewhere far away that, has these bison and elk and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
I can be picky and say, I'm only going to have wild salmon.
Mm-hmm. Would they have Force of Nature at Whole Foods? They do. They have some. Yeah. And I also just wanted to say Local Joe's is fantastic in Mount Pleasant. And I don't know if you've been there, but I have, had some advice, and they actually sell raw milk and raw kefir and a lot. They have tons of grass-fed butter and all kinds of stuff. Fantastic. So sorry, I have to give that shout out.
So it's a cute little shop.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be laughing at these people that are making fun of you for your dietary habits when you're 95. Running around.
Yeah.
without inflammation in your joints and chronic diseases. So.
And it's funny because people are like, well, I don't like vegetables. And it's like, you know what? You know how I used to drink my coffee was with a shit ton of cream and a shit ton of sugar.
Yeah.
And I just slowly backed off of everything. Your taste buds will adjust.
Yes.
If you can lay off the meat a little bit and start adding vegetables in, you will start to love them. I've gotten to the point, I just love vegetables.
So do I.
I do.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I found a way to cook them that they're very tasty, and it's 90% of what I eat. And
But everybody's
I don't feel like
different.
I'm missing anything.
I have to say that everybody is different.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I was actually advised to not eat as many vegetables, and for what's going on with my body right now, and to actually, eat more red meat, grass-fed red meat.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever your body needs. And,
Yeah.
and Erin and I eat entirely differently. We were making a joke about that though. Like she's naturally thin and I'm not, and she eats tons of fat, avocado, peanut butter, cottage cheese.
Yeah.
I can't eat any of those things. And cottage cheese makes me sick. Like grocery store dairy, I can't eat. So everybody has a different constitution. Like I definitely want to say that.
Absolutely.
And I think you eat what you crave. But the point she's trying to make is like, I've had to make all kinds of adjustments because my diet before was like pizza and cheeseburgers and French fries. And so what I've explained to people is like, I'll eat venison burgers or I'll eat bison burgers and stuff like that. And they're like, with a bun? And I'm like, no. I'm like, and they're like, not even a gluten-free bun. I'm like, that doesn't even taste good to me. Yeah. Like maybe you can get a good one somewhere.
But why do you even need a bun?
You get used to it. And then cheese. I remember thinking I could never live without cheese. Yeah. And then I got to the point where every time I ate cheese, it made me sick. And so I stopped eating cheese. And guess what? Like I survived.
Yeah.
And lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things that just slowly, and when you wake up in the morning, what I've learned is like you crave whatever it is. There's also, you can get greens in from green juice if you have to, but like I remember when I saw you the other day and I told you I had eaten like a head of, I ate like a head of kale.
You did it in like a smoothie or like a?
No. I just like sauteed it right up. 'Cause raw also I think is a little bit much. So I did like a head of kale and a head of Swiss chard because I was like, I need to like get some things going. And then I went to see a doctor afterwards and she was like, you just jacked your shit up. Like this is, you are causing all of this inflammation and it's just too difficult for you to digest this.
Yeah.
And so you've got like, I'm fine with this amount of fiber and this amount of fiber. And then she also told me that fruits were easier to digest for fiber. So she's like, I'm fine with this, but we're going to have to back off of this for now. Isn't that, I'm just saying.
No, it's
like,
crazy.
It's not,
everybody's different.
Yes.
And so when you get somebody that says, well, this is the diet that you should follow, you see that on Instagram all the time. Like, this is the diet, right? Some guru is saying to you.
Right.
That you have to follow.
You have
How
to
do
try
they know
everything.
what your body needs,
You
right?
have to try everything.
Listen to your body, for sure.
Totally.
So back to your business.
Yeah.
Yes. Back to the business.
Now that we've all given nutritional advice.
I have a question about the building itself. Did you design it?
So I didn't, I guess I did actually.
Because it's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. So it was divided into these little rooms and it had old bathroom. Yeah. Sex rooms. Had an old bathroom, had a laundry room, and I knew that we needed a steam room and a scrub table for the body scrubs. And so I took the laundry room and I put windows in it so that it could get this beautiful light that was coming in. And and we made the whole room a steam room, and then we put a copper tub in it for soaking with minerals. And
see how dreamy, guys.
I know,
you have
right?
to go.
It's not your typical doctor's office.
And look how she lights up when she talks
And it's
about
not
it.
a doctor's office. It's a sanctuary.
And we have a cold plunge and a sauna, right?
So you can go before you get a treatment and enjoy all these things.
Yep. And you can get a membership that includes cold plunging and sauning. Or I have one member who's like, I don't have a bathtub at my apartment. Can I just have a copper tub soak?
Oh, wow.
Twice a week? And I was like, sure, why not, right?
Yeah. Talk about the products that you use and you sell, because Erin was telling me they're either from Sweden or Switzerland, which has like the highest regulations for ingredients.
In fact, one of the products that she loves to use they've taken it away because there was a trace amount of something that was found to be in Europe not safe in skincare. And so they've made this like staple of her, favorite product they've discontinued it.
Damn.
And but that's okay, because they'll probably replace it with something that's safer for you. So yes, we have Valmont from Switzerland. We have a Fortuna Skin from Sicily, which is from this beautiful 800-acre farm where they're resurrecting rare olive trees that are about to go extinct and getting the wild herbs, make most of the ingredients as well. So we have Fortuna Skin. We have Illumier, actually made in Canada, first licensed to be sold in Europe. So they met the European standards first. We have that as well. Yeah, I mean, we have everything that
Margie's
you can possibly
of Monaco.
Well, that's right. I always forget about Margie's because it's so high end, I have to say.
Well, I have that thing in the scrub in my shower, and I've been enjoying it since I first got a facial with Erin.
I think you just need a little bit
serious.
of
it. I don't even think I'm a quarter of the way through the tube.
Yeah,
Like
one
once a
woman
week.
bought her
Yeah.
husband a product because he loved it during his facial, and she came back to see me. That was like 3 weeks ago, and she said, my husband goes into the bathroom and he like digs his hands in the product and then he slathers it all over his face. He's like, he's almost done.
God damn it, Roger.
That little cream, that little bottle of, she's like, I've had mine for 4 months and he's
Right.
gone through his in like 2 weeks. So yeah, it just takes a little bit. But your skin, like, I'm sorry that I've gotten so many women addicted to healthy skincare that's effective, but I'm sorry,
you're
not
not
sorry.
sorry.
I'm not
Right.
sorry. You won't go back to the, cheap stuff.
Yeah,
No.
it's worth it. Splurge
Yeah.
on yourself.
Totally.
You only get one face.
Yeah.
Most of us.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I was 4 minutes late this morning, and there's no excuse because I was up at 4:30. Really, and I started getting ready. I mean, but it's like I love my shower and my skincare. Like I have so much fun doing it now that I just like forget about time. And so anyway, that is one thing you get to look forward to in your 40s.
Routines.
Yeah.
Yes,
My routines keep getting longer and longer.
habits are, but they're so important,
Yeah.
right? Now I have my gratitude journal every morning in my routine. That's added another.
It's good.
Let me
10
tell you
minutes.
what, I cannot tell you the last time I did not wash my face at night. Like, I don't care how drunk or tired or what time it is, probably 15 years since I have not taken my makeup off every
What
night.
makes Erin and I different? Friday and Saturday night, don't wash my face. Just pass straight out.
Oh, God.
Just saying, give me one and I'm not washing my face.
That's so funny.
Well, thank you for what you do. It's really like it truly is a sanctuary.
You need to go
Aw.
spoil yourself.
Yeah.
And or go with your girlfriends and I don't know. I mean, like, what do you suggest in terms of just like starting out on a like what would be a good like dipping your toe in the water?
I think it's different
Consult.
for each person.
Yeah.
Like what I think, come and just meet us
Yeah.
and see what we have
I
to
agree
offer.
with that. You have to go see the space.
Yeah,
First of
just
all, you
come see
guys
the
don't
space.
even understand. I mean, the location is fantastic. You just want to be there. You want to be there all day.
I have an idea.
Huh.
Send somebody who loves you to buy you a gift card or buy them over the, you can do it over the phone. You can do it through Boulevard, our app from our website. Get them to get you a gift card and then come to the space with your gift card and go over all the choices.
Yes.
And then you decide what you want.
I agree.
spoil yourself.
I got some of my faves a gift card from Portico for Christmas this year, and I can't wait to give it to them. And I can't wait
to
for
get
them.
mine.
You're not getting anything.
I thought it was a fave.
You'll get nothing and like it. Don't we have a no gift agreement?
Sorry.
And so, but I'm so excited for them to come check it out. And
we put little samples of the different like Margie's and Valmont
Yes,
Fortuna in there so that they
yes.
can sample it before they come.
it smells so good
Yeah.
in my little room where I have all that stuff
Yeah.
right now. All right. So tell everybody where they can find you online and on Instagram.
Yeah. So it's Portico Longevity on Instagram. It's easy. It's www.porticolongevity.com on the internet. And then our phone number, because we love old-fashioned phone calls too sometimes, is 843-779-8570. Yeah, give us a call. Come
And
by, drop by.
I recommend a consult with you. I mean, you helped me with hormone testing. We did a hormone saliva test
Yeah.
earlier this year, and I learned some
I'm
very
calling it the
interesting
longevity
things.
consult.
Yeah.
That's what you asked for.
I just think I think people need to come in and talk to you and meet you and ask a bunch of questions and see what you have to say. You're a very interesting person and wonderful and warm and insightful and intuitive. And like, you know, you were like picking up on all my stuff, I love what I do, my stress and everything. And very helpful. Aww. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. And thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.